Are you tired of testing different crosshairs out and after countless changes you still can't find the right crosshair? And through your countless hours trying to find that ideal crosshair, you get hit with people telling you that it's all preference? If this is you, then you've come to the right video. We're going to give you the #1 crosshair in all of Valorant. No, this is not clickbait. We've gone through the settings of countless pros and crunched the numbers together to identify the one crosshair that is actually the best out there and that you should be using for Valorant. I'm Dr. Zora. If this video helps you out, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and tell me what your crosshair settings are or what they are going to be after watching this video. First up, let's go over the settings that the pros have an overwhelming consensus over. Amongst the top players in the world, over 99% of them have outer line set to 0 and movement and firing error turned off. You want the crosshair to be simple and easy to spot out, and if you leave these two settings on, there's going to be too much going on the screen and too many moving parts happening with your crosshair that could distract you from its main purpose, which is shooting the enemy's goddamn head off. Save yourself the trouble and turn these settings off just like the pros so you can keep your crosshair simple, clean, and clear. Next up, you want to turn center dot off and outlines off. There's a smaller percentage of pros that use these settings, but it's still well above 90%. These don't cause nearly as much clutter as the outer lines and movement and firing errors, but the center dot can potentially block off vision on the enemy's head and make it harder to aim at them. In terms of the outline, I'll be honest, I have no freaking clue why the players don't use it, and the best explanation I can have is that it's just an overwhelming preference. Overall, these settings should be turned off to have the best crosshair possible. If you still have these turned on after the video, are you trying to be iron, bro? Doste viewer, why you no listen? With that information out of the way, the most important crosshair settings by far is the inner lines. This is the bread and butter of the crosshair, and having the perfect settings here as well will allow you to maximize your aim potential, drop those 30 and 40 bombs, and rank up faster. Going down to settings, 99.99% of players have inner line opacity at 1 to ensure that they can see their crosshair as clearly as possible. If you lower this setting, which the other 0.01% of players sometimes do, the crosshair will be a little more transparent. Why they do this? I have no clue, man. Makes it hard to aim, so what are we gonna do, boys and girls? We follow the pack and set this bad boy to 1. Woof woof, let's go, baby. Next is inner line length, and there's quite a large consensus on this as well. 47.22% of pro players have this set to 4. Now some of y'all may be thinking, where Zora, that's not even 50%, it's below average. No, my friend, that is not how the statistics work, at least in this scenario. The other values cover the other 53%, but none of them individually come even close to the 47% of 4. Because of this, the best number to put inner line length at is at 4. We're now at inner line thickness, and let me tell you, the pros like it thick. For things other than their crosshair though, for this setting, players actually like to keep it skinny. 61% of players have chosen to set this value to 2. Other than that, the large majority of the remaining 39% of pros have this value set to 1. Main reason being, the thicker the crosshair, the more the screen it takes up, the more it blocks off enemy vision, and thus players like to keep it at a low value to prevent any potential barriers to seeing and shooting people's heads off. And last but not least, on the inner lines, we have inner line offset. This setting represents how far apart your crosshair will be spread out. I was actually quite surprised on this setting because me personally, I like to have a little bit of spread so I can better see the enemies inside my crosshair, but the pros think otherwise, or their opinions are also quite spread as well. 25% of pros have gone with inner line offset of 4, while another 28% of the pros went with 2. These were the two most common options, and then the rest of the percentages were split between 0, 1, 3, and 5. However, an inner line offset of 2 was just a touch more popular in numbers, and it's in line with the most common theme amongst pro Valorant crosshairs of being small and simple. So with that being said, we have officially completed the #1 crosshair setting for Valorant with inner line opacity at 1, inner line length set at 4, inner line thickness at 2, and inner line offset at 2. 1, 4, 2, 2 is the settings you want for inner lines, and everything else, turn that shit off. Now hold on just a moment because we aren't done yet. We still need to figure out the #1 crosshair color. The color is an aspect that is highly underrated and can drastically change how well you're able to see enemies in the crosshair, and I was actually quite surprised by the results here. Green took up 42.7% of pro players, which is quite lower than what I was expecting. I imagine this value to be up to about 70% as it's the default color, Plus, it's very clear and differentiates itself from the background of the mask really well. The runner-up is white, which is at 22.2%, and cyan at 19.4%. I was definitely expecting white to be up there, but the value for cyan actually surprised me, as I know a large majority of the player base themselves do use cyan, but amongst the pros, it's more on the lower end, but still relatively popular as almost a quarter of the pros use it. Nonetheless though, green wins by a long shot. So if you want the number one crosshair, we got inner line settings 1422 and our crosshair color of green, and you'll be well set up to hit those headshots, frag out, and climb through the ranks of Valorant. That's all I have for this video. If it helped you out, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and again, comment down those crosshair settings down in the comments below. I'm watching you guys. You better comment, alright? Or I'ma do something bad to ya. I'm Dr. Zor, helping cure you from being a noob, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Hello.